people want to know, well, intellectually, what was going on and what were you thinking and like that. But Prabhupada said, you all became devotees because of prasadam. But I never thought I became a devotee from prasadam. I always thought I became a devotee because I think I was tortured by the fact that I was a living entity who had a body who didn't know what the hell to do with it. And I just felt like, well, I didn't feel suicidal, but I just felt like, well, everything's kind of useless if you don't know why you're supposed to do it. And I used to like to write songs. So I'd write these songs, and after I write a song, I go, what is this? This is stupid. What's the point of it? I don't even know anything. And I was thinking I could become a professor. I'd just stay in school. School, it seemed like campus was kind of like its own reality. So if you just stayed on campus, you'd never kind of deal with the real world. So that was like an alternative for me. So I thought, I'll just stay in school. My parents will pay for it. If I stay long enough, I guess by default, I'd end up teaching. So I had this philosophy professor. He kind of blew my bubble. First day in class, he said, I don't know anything, so I can't teach you anything. Of course, this is Berkeley, 1969. So he says, I don't know anything, I can't teach you anything, so you don't have to come to my classes, because there's no real reason to come, because what can I teach you? He said, all you have to do is write a term paper. Pick a subject, write a term paper, and give yourself a grade and turn it in. So that just added to the realization I already had. I think, I don't know anything. I don't know why I'm here. Well, maybe I'll become a professor so now I can teach everybody what I don't know. So I was in that environment. And then I, started reading Bhagavad Gita, and I was like, yeah, this guy is right. He doesn't know. But now I knew what he doesn't know, and I knew what all the other teachers didn't know. So intuitively, I was feeling nobody knew anything, but now I knew what they didn't know. So it became difficult to remain in college. And then as I read Bhagavad Gita, I would think, yes, next page, yes. Yeah. So I kind of, when I was writing what happened and looking at all these events, I thought, okay, well, I needed to live with that girl. I needed this experience with drugs. I needed to have a professor to tell me he doesn't know anything. I needed to be a frustrated musician. I needed to have an attraction for India. I needed all these things. So when someone will say, how did you become a devotee? I say, I really didn't do anything. Krishna just rolled out the red carpet and I followed the dotted lines to the end. And then that was it. That's how I feel. And I'll tell another story. It's really interesting. This one devotee told me, he had a teacher, I think it was a writing teacher, and he asked the teacher a question, something like, how is it that you can write prolifically like you do every day? And you write so much, just, create the space. Some people find it difficult to create the space to just be able to be peaceful enough to write. And the teacher thought about it for a moment, and his answer was, I cannot not do it. It was like this spontaneous answer as he thought about it. He couldn't say why. All he could say is, I can't not do it. So I think for many of us who become devotees, that's the answer. How did you become a devotee? I can't imagine how I could not be a devotee. When I was coming to the temple, the thing that I realized was all the people living in the temple were the kind of people I wanted to live with. So even beyond the philosophy, it was just, I don't know anybody that lives like this, and this is the way I want to live. So it kind of became like inevitable in my mind that I knew that at some point I would just have to break ties with everything else and move in the temple, because these are the kind of people I wanted to be with. The philosophy was there, but the people, I think if they didn't follow it, then I probably would have thought, well, what's the point? No one follows it. And then I thought, well, where are these other communities? The communes or whatever, spiritual community. And I thought, here. These are the people that really are doing it. So that had a very powerful influence. And then the real reason, not the real reason, but interesting reason I joined, which is kind of funny. You know how in the Hare Krishna movement, particularly in the old days, we were very male. We were kind of the males were the dominants. They still try to be sometimes, the dominant, the alpha male, that we control and the women follow. So I always, when I do seminars, I always tell the women, I say, don't believe that. I say, you're totally in control. The men are always thinking about you all the time. These two women were coming to the temple when I was coming, right at the same time they were coming to the temple when I was coming to the temple. So at a certain point I thought I should be a devotee, but it's kind of like you're at the shore of the ocean, the water's a bit cold. You just don't want to dive in, so you kind of go slowly and then, ooh, it's a little cold and back up. So they both joined the temple around the time, I was thinking I should join the temple. So when they joined the temple, then it was like, well, if they joined, me, the big, I'm the guy, it's like, how can I take that? So ladies, you have control. You are in charge. You made me a devotee in a sense. Maybe push me over the fence. I guess my male ego got slapped around a bit when they joined. Well, if they joined,